everyone. Today I'm going to present the COVID-19 management solutions due to liquidity issues. So what causes liquidity issue? First, it's market dysfunction. Due to a sudden stop in economic activities, there are problems that arise and it caused slowdown in the economy because of the trades are stopped. The markets are frozen, and these issues lead to problems in volatility, liquidity, and cash flows. So here are my proposed response for management problems. First is for cash management problems. Ensure financing is viable. Of course, financing should be the first thing to bear in mind with cash management, because without enough financing, it would be hard for the company to work, to operate its activities and business. Second is manage income statement to balance sheet. This part here, we're talking about receivables, inventories. Such things should be well coordinated in order to properly balance the two. Next, look at the bigger picture. If you are involved in the cash management part of the company, you should not focus only on that part. You must think of the bigger picture, like think in the terms of as the owner of the company, because such times as the pandemic, it's different now. So you should think of the overall effect of it on your company. Next is the check capital investment plans. So you must prioritize what investments are more important and postpone those investments that are not worthy of such investments, because these times the cash should be allocated in more profitable investments. Next is manage to accelerate receivables. So do the best as you can that you can accelerate the time, to shorten the time that your company gets its receivables from payments. So next is the working capital management. Wisely extend payables. So you should aim to extend the payables. For example, you are paying for someone, extend the payment terms from 12 months into 24, so that the other funds that are saved due to that process can be used to such a degree that is more essential rather than those payables themselves. So another one is compress cash conversion cycle. So in this part, you should aim to make the conversion of cash, some parts such as like the receivables, the credits, to be converted faster rather than the normal rate due to these times. Next is focus efforts in working capital. Of course, this is the main job of working capital, but especially in these times of pandemic, the industries should focus on their working capital, because working capital is the game here when it comes to coping with the problems that are caused by the pandemic. If you have bigger capital, you have bigger capabilities in order to bounce back from the problem and for further growth to continue your operations. Then lastly, seek alternative ways to free up cash. This is pretty straightforward. you should look for other sources rather than capital sources. Next is debt management. Seek for additional external financing. So you must like the other one from working capital management, you should seek for additional capital aside from the sources that you're already getting your funds. Next is take advantage of debt service payments. These one here. Next, revise debt management strategies and use precautionary cash buffers. The cash buffers, you should be cautious because in these times, especially now that the economy is bouncing back from the problems caused by the pandemic, you should aim to be cautious with your cash buffers in order to avoid spending in wrong finances. Next is avoid central bank financing because this is the last resort for companies. You should not look unless it is really the fault of your company. Next is because there are other ways for refinancing. Last is enhance investor relations and market communication. This is pretty straightforward. You should aim to get in touch with your investors more, especially in these times. Next is the investment management. Turn volatility of the market to your advantage. Volatile market is not always bad because such volatile market are known for its unpredictability, but you can actually make profits due to it. Imagine a very volatile market where the prices go up and down and up and down rapidly. If you invested in the lower part of the market, then you surge to the top. That's when the time to sell, but be sure to sell at your so that is using the volatility to your advantage. Next is embrace new technologies. Of course, every time such new technologies are rising, your company should always study such new technologies that makes the jobs easier and more efficient work. Focus on fee-based services. This is for your investor relations as well. You should focus on fee-based rather than the traditional commission-based because fee-based, you could get more in touch with your investors, and some investors trust you more because of this, because it is actually the result-based. Like if you give them advice, that's just when they give you the fees. Next is foreign exchange risk management. Focus on wise hedging strategies. Firstly, hedging is not that bad when others think it is bad in times like this, but the most important part is you study the investment and different types of investment, then think of the right ratios and the right securities you should invest in. That's the key to wise hedging. Then evaluate transaction risks. This is because of the regulations imposed by different countries, like transportation restrictions, health restrictions, like that. Your company should be aware of what is happening in their country so that the transactions will be known, and your company would adjust to what those costs might cost to your finances. And lastly, the interest rate risk management. Of course, you must diversify because diversify, as we know, reduces the risks overall in the investment. But don't focus too much on diversifying. Also use technical and fundamental analysis before you invest on something. Then apply hedging strategies. Thank you.